The new season is upon us. The race for the planet is back, and this is Extreme E. Hello and welcome to Extreme E Season 3, the race for the planet, where 20 fully electric SUVs race wheel to wheel in some of the most remote and challenging environments on the planet. And it starts here. The track runs alongside the Saudi Arabian coastline in Neom. What a stunning location. My name is Nikki Shields, and alongside me in the commentary box is Andrew Coley.
Thanks, Nikki. Season 3 for me of Extreme E. Absolutely love this series. We've had some amazing action in the previous two encounters. Go and take a look if you haven't seen it already. But of course, it's not just about the action, it's about what the series stands for as well. We've got gender equality with both a male and a female driver in each of our 10 teams, some superstars out there, and off track as well, we're looking at environmental issues and how we could possibly solve them.
Love it, so cool. And I think that's what's so important about this championship. It's all about leaving a legacy as well. And Extreme E works with partners across the world, from the Arctic to the rainforest, making sure they always leave behind a positive impact. We have got lots to explore, so let's get cracking with the Season 3 adventure.
So we're starting the season again in Saudi Arabia, but this track is very different from the previous ones we've seen. We've been in the heart of the desert in previous seasons, Nikki. This time we're on the beach.
Oh, it's absolutely stunning. Racing along the shores of the Red Sea. And then we head to a new race in Scotland. First time we'll be racing on Scottish soil, and this is the Hydro X Prix.
Yeah, massive new hydro power solution in development, looking to see what the track has in store for us up there. Then we're back to Italy, Sardinia. Now, we've been to Sardinia a couple of times before. It's a very rough track. We're going to be revisiting our work helping local communities recover from devastating wildfires.
So after the Island X Prix, we will be heading to an unknown destination at the moment on the 16th and 17th of September. We are looking forward to that being confirmed.
Yeah, TBC, could be anywhere, could be anything with Extreme E. But of course, we're heading down to Chile, to Antofagasta for the end of the season. Copper X Prix, if the last two season finales are anything to go by, it promises to be a dramatic finish.
Oh, it does indeed. What a cracking season we have lined up for 2023. And of course, the new racing format for Season 3 brings double the action, but still zero the impact. 10 challenging races over some of the toughest, most diverse terrain in motorsport. This season promises to be our best yet. It's not just the calendar that's brand new, though. There's plenty of fresh new faces amongst our 10 teams. Time to meet some of the fastest drivers to walk the planet.
Well, where better to start than last season's winners, X44 Vida Carbon Racing. Lewis Hamilton's Season 2 champions have a new driver lineup, with Jamaican Fraser McConnell replacing Sebastian Loeb to pair up with Cristina Gutierrez in defending the Extreme E crown.
Their biggest rivals are Season 1 victors, Rosberg X Racing, with Swedish pairing of Johan Kristoffersson and Michaela Arlin Kotelinski, eager to reclaim their title after losing out in the closing moments of the Season 2 finale.
She's rolled, and this is disaster.
From spinning decks in Ibiza to spinning tyres off the start line, new team owner and superstar DJ Carl Cox will be bringing a different kind of energy to the series. A veteran Extreme E lineup of Christine GZ and Timo Scheider will be taking up residency in the driver's seat.
Motorsport royalty Neon McLaren joined the grid last season, with Rallycross and X Games legend Tanner Faust joining McLaren's first ever female driver, Emma Gilmore. They learnt a lot in their rookie season, but can they start taking wins this year?
Rally and Dakar legend Carlos Sainz Sr. will sadly miss this round, injured. Taking his place in the car will be Matthias Ekstrom, who joins teammate Laia Sanz in the Acciona Sainz team, who finished a close third in Season 2.
Motorsport upstarts Veloci Racing shook up their squad at the end of last season, bringing in Season 1 champ Molly Taylor and prizing Kevin Hansen away from close rivals JBXE. The instant effect in the final round of Season 2 looked very promising for Season 3.
Losing Kevin hasn't slowed down JBXE though, with former F1 World Champion Jensen Button's outfit adding the experience of Heikki Kovalainen to young sensation Hedda Hosas, who will definitely be expecting to replicate more podium finishes throughout this season.
Number 99 GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing are back with an all-American driver lineup. RJ Anderson cements his place after stepping in last year, and drift star Amanda Sorensen slides in, looking to capitalise on the potential shown by the team in the previous 2 seasons.
Andretti Autokilet are the only team to have kept their original driver pairing of Katie Munnings and Timmy Hansen together since the first ever event. With good reason too, as this dynamite duo are consistently fighting for the top spots.
Still riding high after winning the final Prix last season at Abt Cupra XE. 5-time Dakar winner Nasser Al-Attiyah combining with Clara Anderson, who grabbed her opportunity with both hands last season, scoring a debut podium finish in the Copper Prix, and then following up with their maiden victory.
Well, we've had cars on track here in Saudi Arabia already. Yesterday was free practice 1 and 2. We had our cameras up for free practice 2, so we can take a look at the track and a look, of course, at some of the driver lineups. This is one of the lineups that remains unchanged. RXR came so close to taking the title again last year. Of course, Season 1 champions, Season 2 they just missed out. Johan Kristoffersson and Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski.
Absolutely, they are looking for a bit of redemption, I think, on just missing out on the championship last season. 5-time FIA World Rallycross champion Johan Kristoffersson is back in the seat, showing us how it's done. And then Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski, who has done an absolutely sterling job over the last season, really looking to impress here in Nyon.
Tidily done by RXR. As always, Kristoffersson was on a big push. He was actually the fastest of the drivers on his own, but of course this is about teamwork, so him and Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski were towards the top of the timesheets. No point in risking it all during free practice. You know, they're basically learning the course, get very little time out on track. Now, a new team for you. It's an existing team, but with a new sponsor. It's Andretti Autokilet, is how you say the title sponsor's name. So Andretti Autokilet, but a driver lineup remains unchanged. Timmy Hansen and Katie Munnings.
These guys were a really strong threat last season. Timmy Hansen, Katie Munnings just worked so well together. Timmy Hansen, of course, World Rallycross champion from 2019. And Katie Munnings, she's just done so well over her journey in Extreme, massively progressing, has a hugely positive attitude, I think, coming into XE, and is again here ready to impress.
They were P2 in both sessions, Nikki, so right on the pace at the top of the timesheets in both of the sessions. At first I wondered whether it was due to track conditions, which you can see change a lot as the session goes on. The ruts are developing, but to be P2 in both means, you know, consistency across all the types of track conditions. JBXE, one of our rookie drivers here. Not really fair to call an XF1 driver a rookie, of course, but Heikki Kovalainen has not competed in the Odyssey 21 before. He's got Hedda Hosas next to him. He did do F1, he went to do Japanese GT, he actually then moved across to doing rally in Japan. So rallying isn't new to him, it's a switch which he made quite a long time ago. He actually won the Race of Champions as long ago as 2004 against the likes of Sebastian Loeb and Michael Schumacher. So Kovalainen knows how to wheel, and Hedda Hosas will be a great teammate for him.
And that's what you want, isn't it? You want to come into this championship with as much exposure from different disciplines as possible and really put it to the test. So here we have the Nyon McLaren team. Bit of a home race for them, of course, being in Nyon. We've got Tanner Faust, who is here, also ready to show off his skills behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21. And then
Emma Gilmore, who just locked up on the way into the switch zone. So you can see how late they're leaving the brakes. Remember, the switch zone is 30 kilometres an hour. Got to get that speed down. You're on board with Tanner now. It was Emma who took the wheel first of all. Look at the cars moving around. Expecting these corners to get rutted up. Potentially Yeah, okay, there, good example. Up on two wheels, it's going to be a fine line, I think, between how hard you push, whether or not you could potentially push a tyre off a rim or even roll the car. Faust, in fact, at the end of his run, went the wrong way. Ended up in the switch zone instead of at the finish line. Doesn't really matter in free practice. So they were shown as a DNF, but they didn't actually have a problem. It was just a communications issue.
So next up, we have the number 99 GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing team. Amanda Sorensen, rookie driver for the team. Second ever female driver to race for Chip Ganassi in 31 years. What an accolade that is. And then RJ Anderson here again to show off his skill. I think what's really interesting to see here as well is how the sand's reacting. You know, we were worried about it being too dusty on the track, but actually you'll see with the wind, and also there's a little bit of damp in the air, the sand is actually dropping quite quickly. So hopefully that's not going to be too much of a challenge for the drivers when they're racing all together.
Yeah, the last couple of years in Saudi, it has been dusty, but say with the change to this beach venue and sand being a little bit heavier, visibility shouldn't be an issue here this year. Right, great lineup for this season. Look at that, what a backdrop for a track. There is the paddock. Hydrogen power and all sorts of clever stuff going on down there. You can see the switch zone over on the left-hand side of your screen. 5 bays for the 5 teams. Remember, new format this year, double header every weekend. No more single car racing. We've just got 2 sets of 2 races. Header Hosas, Heikki Kovalainen for JBXE. Excited to see how all these new driver lineups work, and of course the existing ones as well. Second year for McLaren. Wow, they started last year with a huge shunt for Tanner Faust. Molly Taylor alongside Kevin Hansen at Veloce. That pairing, I think, is going to be absolutely epic. But if you've missed Extreme E over the last couple of seasons, you need a little catch-up as to what's gone on before. This is the story so far.
2 years ago, a new kind of racing was born.
Welcome to the Santa Elena. Welcome to the biggest adventure of our time.
A revolution in speed and sustainability.
Wouldn't it be great to be a part of something that really does make a difference?
A showcase of technology and innovation. Extreme E.
No lifting! Oh, the feature!
Oh, look at that!
An all-electric off-road racing series travelling to the most remote corners of the planet to highlight the effects of climate change. In Season 1 and 2, the series visited 7 different locations around the world, starting in Alula, Saudi Arabia.
Christopherson goes out wide, now he's going to make the cut back and try and carry the speed through the corner. He kicks the car up really high.
The race was won by Rosberg X Racing, a team led by 2016 Formula 1 world champion Nico Rosberg. The championship in Season 1 went down to the wire as RXR battled Lewis Hamilton's team X44 throughout. After 4 dramatic rounds, it came down to the final race of the season.
3 laps to decide our champion.
Incredibly, Rosberg X Racing took the title by the tightest of margins, with a tie-break having finished the season on the same championship points as X44. As Season 2 got underway, RXR continued their winning ways, dominating at the opening Desert X Prix.
Johan Christopherson, the reigning champion, crosses the line to take the win in round 1.
Round 3 in Sardinia saw Johan's new teammate for Season 2 also delivering the goods.
Michaela Arlen Kotlinski at the wheel, past you Decline Smith, just into the water splash, and RXR take the win in round 3.
But in round 4 in Chile, X44 were determined to fight back.
Wow, X44 muscle their way through. Look at them both almost over at the same time.
They took their first win of the season to leave them within touching distance of the title as we headed to the final round in Uruguay.
And look at those 2 title rivals going together all the way. It's RXR versus X44.
Sebastian Loeb fires up the inside.
X44 have won this championship.
A title each for Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton's teams in the first 2 seasons. Can one of them make it 2, or will there be a new name in the Extreme E history books as the new championship fight gets underway?
Well, that was the last 2 seasons of Extreme E. We've come to the first race day of the 3rd season, and there are 2 new drivers to get to know this season. Both rookies to Extreme E, but this man right next to me, no stranger to the world of motorsport, former Formula 1 driver, Formula 1 Grand Prix winner, nevertheless. Heikki Kovalainen joins me now. driving here for JBXE. Heikki, welcome to the world of Extreme E. What has brought you here?
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's it's something very different that I've experienced in my career, most of the career. You know, I've been on racing on the circuits on tarmac, and just the last couple of years, the passion has shifted a bit towards the sort of looser surface and gravel and snow events in rallying, and Extreme E was another series that I wanted to give it a try, and when an opportunity came with JB, I thought, why not?
Why not indeed, and it's great to have you here. We'll see how you can adapt to the surface out here. Thank you, Heikki, appreciate it. There is a big race to be won out there, a double header, in fact, double the action this weekend. There's also a competition happening in the paddock as well. That's the Count Us In initiative. That is encouraging fans of the teams to make environmental pleasures and do good habits at home. The focus this week is on planting trees as part of the rewilding, biodiversity and regreening here in Saudi Arabia. We can have a chat, though, with another one of the drivers, another new driver, in fact. Amanda joins me now. Welcome to Extreme E. How much are you looking forward to getting out there?
I'm excited, honestly. It's like we're racing on the beach. Doesn't get any better than that.
It doesn't, does it? How do you think you're going to adapt from what you've done before to a brand new forward motorsport?
I think that with my diverse driving skills, I should adapt pretty well, honestly. I have a little bit of road experience, drift experience, and a few championships in the dirt, so hopefully it all comes together.
What are the ambitions for you and RJ this weekend?
I think just playing it smart, honestly, is kind of what we're thinking. We're both new to the car, we're new to the series. There's still a lot of things to learn with such short time. So, yeah, we're just going to play it smart and see what we can do.
It's exciting. It is great to have you here. Welcome to the Extreme E family. Thank you so much, and best of luck this weekend.
So, more cars out in free practice too. Acciona's Sainz. Laia Sanz behind the wheel first of all, but she, of course, normally would be handing over to Carlos Sainz. Now, Carlos Sainz, earlier on in the year, competing for Audi in the Dakar Rally, hurt his back, hurt it significantly. So it was, I think, fractured vertebrae. So it's actually his Audi teammate from the Dakar Rally, Matthias Ekström, who used to compete in Extreme E, and he's handy in a bunch of series. Ekström is covering for Sainz until he's better. At Cupra, so Nasser Al-Attiyah and Clara Anderson. Al-Attiyah, another Dakar man, of course.
I mean, unbelievable. 5 Dakars to his name. What an absolutely phenomenal achievement. And then Clara Anderson alongside him. Again, these have been a really impressive drive between the two of them. Abd Cupra back for some more action. I think they're looking to improve on their past experiences in XC before, looking for a little bit more performance this year. They've been doing a huge amount of prep coming into this season. So I think we can expect some big results. That was a great big jump as well.
It was, yeah. They've had a few driver changes over the couple of seasons, certainly. And Clara, in fact, stood in for Jutta Kleinschmidt towards the end of last year and was on the podium in both her runs, which is why the team have signed her up so quickly. Carl Cox Motorsport. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The man is back from behind the decks to being out on track with his team. He signed up Timo Scheider and Christine GZ as his 2 drivers. I'm so excited to see Carl in this series. I saw him in the Isle of Man last year at the TT. He's passionate about 2-wheel and 4-wheel motorsport. This is his first foray into electric motorsport. Welcome along to the series, Carl. Great to have you with us.
Indeed. I absolutely love his passion for motorsport. I'd love to know what he kind of talks about with the team, you know, before a race weekend, what kind of words of wisdom he gives them, or maybe it's just a really good playlist. But I'm looking forward to the after party, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Now, here's somebody else who's looking to have a party this year. Veloce, Kevin Hansen and Molly Taylor. Now, Molly, of course, was the Season 1 champion alongside Johan Kristoffersson. Her and Kevin were signed up for the last round of last year. Impressive results. And another team, Nick, as you were saying earlier, that I think will just be looking for a bit more speed and consistency this year to get to the top of the podium.
Yeah, and I love the Veloce Racing story as well. You know, they basically came out of what is effectively an esports team and then decided that they wanted to move into Extreme E. And they've shown some really competitive form over the course of the years. But yeah, looking forward to stepping it up with Kevin Hansen and Molly Taylor side by side, another strong pairing.
So here are X44. These are your champions from last year, but they have had a driver lineup change. 9-time World Rally champion Sebastian Loeb's gone from the team, and Fraser McConnell is in now. If you're not familiar with McConnell, he is a rallycross driver. He's doing brilliantly at the minute, competing over in Nitro Rallycross. He's been in America's Rallycross as well, and he has the reigning female champion, Christine Gutierrez, alongside him. Should be a formidable pair. So there's the Santa Elena in our virtual Red Sea in the background, and that is a little overview of our track, Nikki. So we can see here the start. The start comes up to a 90-degree right-hander. Going to be interesting. We've not seen multiple cars in. The Continental Traction Challenge then, which is the yellow section of the track, looks like that starts down at potentially waypoint 2, might be waypoint 3. So it's through the 2 hairpins, including that one that's rutting up onto the ocean front, down the beach, and then again through that long right-hander, which is very fast here, and into the left-handed hairpin, which you've seen a number of people getting kicked sideways in. So the tighter to the corner, the more the ruts will come up, the more the track conditions will change. Then it's back in over a ridgeline, another couple of these jumps, and down to the switch zone. Remember, for each driver, it's 2 laps. So they head out off the start, 2 laps into the switch zone. The second driver will do 2 laps and cross the finish line. So the start, the finish, and the switch are in different places. Sounds ever so complicated if you've not seen it before. It really is. And once you get out on track, we'll just be looking at people knocking corners off each other's cars, desperately trying to take a win. And they get a championship point if they win one of these qualifying races. So you top that up over the course of the year. There's a lot of qualifying races out there.
Makes a big difference, doesn't it? Now, I'm super excited to see just the line as well that these drivers take, because obviously, as you mentioned, it's going to be rutting up over the course of the day. So every lap is going to be different. I haven't had a huge amount of time in practice, just a couple of laps each, but it's going to be exciting, that's for sure. What have you?
Extreme E is a fully electric off-road racing championship consisting of 10 world-class teams, made up of 1 male and 1 female driver. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV, with a driver changeover known as the switch halfway through. Each driver gets an Anoa Hyperdrive boost in every session, and there are bonus points for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge section of the course. First up, it's qualifying, where everybody races twice in a bid to finish as high as possible in the qualifying standings. Then it's time to earn some championship points. From qualifying, the bottom 5 teams go into the redemption race, while the top 5 proceed to the grand final and compete to win the Prix and lift the trophy. It's a season-long battle, 10 rounds, 1 champion.
So there you go. Full understanding, hopefully, of just what we're going to do. If you've been watching for a couple of seasons, you'll know it was single car runs in season 1, then it was a mixture of single car runs and races in season 2, as you've just seen with Laura on site with that lovely explainer. We're going to go racing in both qualifying sessions. So 2 times 2 races to get everybody into their positions ahead of the finals. And talking to Laura Winter, she is in Saudi Arabia having a chat with the drivers ahead of qualifying 1.
Well, here we go. It is race day, the first time for season 3 here at the Desert X Prix, and it's round 1, the double header. Carl Cox Motorsport making their debut in Extreme E. Timo Scheider joins me now, looking cool, relaxed. There must be some nerves jangling, though, to get out there.
Well, still feeling like a rookie, but anyway, for us with Carl and the team, for sure, everything is brand new now. We try to set up everything in the best possible way, but of course, it's a new challenge for all of us. But we are looking forward, we are pumped, and we can't wait to go out racing.
What has Carl been saying to you guys? How pumped is he for this?
Well, he is like so much into motorsport that whatever he starts, he's like really into it full time. And at the moment, he just said, like, guys, go out and send it. So there's no like special tactics. So it's like squeeze everything you have, and that's the plan.
Obviously, you had a good look at the course yesterday. What did you learn from that you'll implement today?
Well, actually, yesterday when we have like this single cars running out there, we had some track evolution, which was quite rough towards the end. But today the track will be in a good shape again. So now it's 5 cars next to each other. So this will be more exciting. And, you know, I'm out of rallycross, so I know what to do. Elbows out and send mode on.
Oh, that's a good hear. That's a good sound, isn't it? Elbows out, full send. Thank you, Timo. Best of luck to you and Christine. Thank you. I believe we may have Katie Munnings. Here she is. Katie, we're just hearing from Timo. Full send, elbows out, full rallycross. How does that make you feel? Pumped?
Yeah, I mean, good morning. A bit of a wake-up call, I guess. It's really funny going straight into, you know, qualifying against other cars. We're so used to having a time run on our own now, so it is a bit of a hard wake-up call, I think.
A good one, though, right? Absolutely. 5-car racing this morning, double chance over the course of the weekend. What did you learn from the course yesterday? What did you make of it?
Oh, it's an amazing track. You know, there's some big jumps, there's some drops. It's quite hard in times on the car. You know, there's some big landings, big compressions. I have no idea what this is going to be like side-by-side racing. It's quite narrow in some places. I think it's going to be quite hard to overtake because it's quite a fast track in general. But yeah, I guess until we've seen the first heat, it's going to be a bit of a surprise.
Oh, it's going to be exciting, isn't it? Best of luck to you. Thank you very much, Katie. We'll move on to another car who is within that very same heat. We're going to get a little jog on here because that race is coming up very soon, isn't it? And we're going to find Laia Sants, who is here in the garage. Laia, here we go then. First race of the season is about to start. What are the emotions for you right now? What's the mindset?
Well, I'm really excited. It's a new season. Can't wait to start. New teammate. Yesterday we felt really good, so hopefully we will have good fights and we can get good results.
And Carlos is here as well as the advisor for the team. What's he been telling you guys?
Well, it's nice to have him here. A lot of advices. Also, Matthias is helping me a lot. So hopefully with them too, I can keep improving as last year. And yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal indeed. Well, best of luck to you guys. Third last season. Who knows for this season? Good luck. Thank you, Laia. Well, here we go then. Q1, Heat 1 is fast approaching. Season 3 is here.
Here we go then, finally, time to go racing in Season 3. Not that long ago is it that Season 2 finished, but no off-season for Extreme E. Let's just get the ship moving again, back down to Saudi Arabia. Third time that we start here, brand new venue. That is a hell of a backdrop for a start, if I say so myself. And in fact, the straight heads down behind the cars where you can see there. There's the harbour, the Santa Elena is over there as well. And here is the Vodafone Business Command Centre. So the teams are waiting to swap over. Let's see. Looks like we've got all the male drivers lining up because it's all the female drivers who are in the Command Centre. So, Nikki, first time you've seen Command Centre, of course. Basically, the way this works is they nominate a driver to go in the first session. They'll have to use the other driver first in the second session. And now, of course, because we don't have any semi-finals or finals, in the final, it will be the men starting for these 5 drivers, for these 5 cars. We'll see what happens with Heat 2. Usually what they do is they pick their racier, maybe more aggressive driver for the starts. And when you've got the likes of Timmy Hansen, who is a world rallycross champion, you know he's going to get stuck in turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that concept, though, of having the command centre, of everyone there
it's
together.
Cool, isn't it?
Yeah, you really can't hide your emotion and your passion, can you? It would be intriguing to know what conversation's going on between the guys in the command centre, but hopefully we'll get to catch up with some of the drivers over the course of the day.
Ekstrom there, another World Rallycross champion, of course. So him and Hansen have gone door to door many times. Nasser Al-Attiyah last year, I think it's fair to say there were a few incidents when he was wheel to wheel. Absolute legend in the Dakar. Plenty of passing in the Dakar too, believe it or not, unless you're first on the road. And he is quite often first on the road. But here is your full lineup.
There we go. So on the left-hand side, in 5th position, we've got Chip Ganassi Racing, R.J. Anderson from the USA. Ahead of the 4 laps of qualifying. Of course, they do 2 laps each and then swap over. And then we've got the car number 55 for Acacia Sants, Matthias Ekstrom. What a pedigree for him. In the 42, new team this season, Carl Cox Motorsport, looking to impress. Timo Schneider in the hot seat. The car 23, Andretti Altakiat, the new team name there, with Timmy Hansen, the Swedish driver, World Rallycross champion. And then finally, the Abt Cupra XE car lining up with a very established 5-time Dakar Rally winner, Nasser Al-Attiyah.
Here we go then, tension building for the drivers. The light panel over to the side of the grid will have changed colour for them now, so they will know there's a random start time coming up. See a few people at the side of the track, cameras up, ready to go. Our cameras are up and we're ready to go as well. Season 3 of Extreme E starts here. And we have no idea what turn 1 even looks like. Looks like a good start for Matthias Ekstrom. He moves across to the middle of the grid immediately. RJ Anderson is alongside him. It's a 90 right, a little bit more open than I thought it might be. RJ still alongside. Ekstrom, though, looking like he's going to try and run it all the way across the track before the left-hander that's coming up. Straight through the middle this time, so up and over the dips. RJ Anderson is still there. The rear end of the car kicks up high. RJ taking the lead in front of Matthias Ekstrom, so that is a great start. RJ Anderson has muscled his way through. Ekstrom in P2 is Timo Scheider for Carl Cox Motorsport, who's in P3 as the car sweep around through this long right-hander. Heading out, there's going to be a couple of hairpins through. Look at this, Ekstrom right up behind Anderson in the background. Who's at the back of the field? I think it's the Cooper of Alatia. So Nasser Alatia's lost out the start here. Ekstrom getting fully roosted in the background there. The stand, the visibility in that car will be absolutely zero, but he's still right up behind him. I wonder if anybody's saved their hyperdrive for this straight. Watch out now, so the Anoa hyperdrive is a boost of power. Ekstrom's looking to the inside line as he comes onto this straight, but he can't find a way through. So at the minute, it's RJ Anderson leading for the GMC Hummer team, and in P2, Acciona Science, Matthias Ekstrom.
Absolutely phenomenal start there for Anderson. Clearly, P5, the position there, gave him a little bit of an advantage on the inside of that first corner, but Ekstrom and Anderson coming right wheel to wheel there, not giving up hope, and I just love that stretch where they're going head-to-head along past the Red Sea.
Big sideways moment, Nicky, for Anderson. Got two sideways there, and Ekstrom's up alongside now, but Anderson's got the inside line. Ekstrom can't quite find a way through. That's a good idea. Look at the visibility that Ekstrom's got in that car. He's going to get sand in the face the whole time. Ekstrom didn't have much sand experience until he signed up for the Dakar, but he's done the Dakar 3 times now, and you can see the pace of this man. Look back onto the straight again. He's still right there. Anderson gets sideways again. Ekstrom is trying to sneak the nose up the inside, but he just can't quite find a way through.
Absolutely phenomenal start. I mean, you can see now the cars are slightly spreading out. Nasser Alatia there, slightly losing pace. However, there's still lots to play for. 4.35 seconds behind Anderson there, trying to make up a little bit of ground. But as you say, the visibility is not good for Ekstrom at the moment. Lots of sand in the windshield.
It really is not, is it? I mean, you can see, but he looks to the inside again. This is the 3rd or 4th time in this race that Ekstrom has been alongside Anderson. Can he get it done this time, coming through the left-hander over the finish line? Drops in behind him now. He's looking, look, he's in his mirrors. He's trying to make Anderson drive on the mirrors. So if you keep appearing left and right, just like in Formula E, Nicky, you put the driver in front under pressure, he will hope that Anderson just goes a little bit deep. This is back up through the start straight now. Look at the whoops. The Odyssey 21 is really being put through his paces here. You can see as well, this rear shot shows us those bright white lights on the roof, and that's actually to help the drivers behind in the dust see just where the car is in front. So those lights there just helping them to sight it a little bit. Back through now. Look at the ruts developing races. Race number 1, and we've got a ton of stuff to do over the weekend.
You can see there, though, have they put water on the track just to help the dust lay?
Sometimes they do. Depends on where we are. What we don't do is wouldn't do anything in an environment that's going to make a difference to it, because we have to be a bit careful with that. Obviously, we're at the seaside, so we've got plenty of water that we can use here. And yeah, we're good. Looking back, Acciona Science, Matthias Ekstrom. I'll tell you what, RJ Anderson's doing a cracking job here of holding him off. He has had plenty of wheel-to-wheel race experience as well himself, Anderson, but Ekstrom is not a man you want behind. Look at this, Nicky. I love the fact they're literally dipping a wheel just in the water on the edge. Yesterday, the tide was slightly further out, which is a mad thing to say about a track, isn't it? And they were hunting for that flat sand to try and find a little bit more grip and a little bit more speed down the straight.
So it's all about who dares to get the wettest in the course of this race.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely going to help with a bit of traction, that's for sure. So now they're coming in towards, I think this is, where are we? Gate 10. This is a nice, long, sweeping left-hander as they go up the hill there. Fighting a little bit of dust, as you can see. It's a little bit drier in the air as you reach a little bit more altitude. But that sun shining isn't going to help with the visibility, that's for sure, at this time in the morning.
He's right there, isn't he, Ekstrom? And if you look back, the gaps between them are very little indeed. All 5 cars still within sight of the leader when they come in to do the driver switch, that's going to be absolutely crucial. We have seen people pass in the switch zone before. Everybody has to take 45 seconds over that switch. Look at Ekstrom still looking. He can't find a way through, but my goodness me, this is the closest race I think we've ever seen in terms of bumper-to-bumper action. We just never see a driver hold on this long. Coming in now, they're coming down to that braking zone for the switch, and look at Ekstrom, almost contact on the way in. Down to 30 kilometers now, you can see the speed, or you could in the bottom left of your corner of your screen. Scheider is in P3. And then we've got Hansen and Alatia coming in the background as well. Now we're hearing that the Cupra team lost the front clamshell bodywork on the car at the start. There it is. Alatia climbed up the back of Andretti.
That was fair. Big contact,
yeah.
actually.
So Alatia, you're on board with Alatia now, look. Okay, there was a little nudge, to be fair, from, yeah, well, maybe a big nudge from the right. Look, he's got no visibility at all. Yeah, he can't see. He can't see. Yeah. So he's hit the back of the Andretti Alta Keelit. Timmy Hansen, and actually Timmy Hansen has lost the whole of the rear right quarter as well. None of that matters in Extreme E. The aero isn't as important as it might be in a circuit race, and they will literally just rip the remaining parts off. Matthias Ekstrom helping Laya Sands into the car.
I'm just going to say, I think that just really goes to show, though, you know, when there's poor visibility, how much the drivers just have to rely on their intuition. They need to know these tracks inside out. Obviously, it's difficult if you've got a car in front, because you're never quite sure where they're going to be. But it's amazing how much they can do in such poor visibility. So 45 seconds allowed to make the switch, to make sure it's nice and safe, making sure, of course, everyone is belted and ready to go. And into the drive position they go. And all 5 cars are back out for the second 2 laps of qualifying.
So yeah, heading out switch now, so you can see Sorensen leading. Wow, what a debut. So Sorensen is leading. We're going to talk to her teammate R.J. Anderson now.
Oh, RJ, what a start to season 3 of Extreme E. What a batter with Matthias. Talk me through it.
That'll get your heart rate up, right? I got to come in for the last round, but I've actually never gotten to do a start like that. So pretty awesome to rip the whole shot. And then I saw Matthias right there the whole time. Obviously a world-class driver, raced me really clean. So man, with these ruts, I gave up a little bit on some of the entries, just knowing like you got to get a good run off. You got to get a good run off. Passing here is super tricky. So pumped to bring this GMC Hummer EV in the first spot, and let's see how Amanda can hold on to her.
Love it. Well done. Thanks very much, RJ.
So indeed, let's see Amanda Sorensen now coming under pressure from Laya Sands. Now, Laya Sands has got 2 years of experience in this car. Sorensen's got plenty of experience off-road. Love what RJ said there about giving up entry speed into the corners to get a good exit. He knew that Ekstrom behind him was a cracking driver, but also liked the respect he showed. Oh, into the water! Laya Sands has hooked a wheel in the water! We need to see where she's gone. So Laya Sands got her left wheels too far in, and she has absolutely disappeared from the back bumper. Water coming in through the air vent on the top of the car. You can see it on her right sleeve as well. She looks across to the right. Somebody else must be passing her alongside. You can just see in her face one tiny mistake, and that's how much they're flirting with it when they put a wheel in the edge of the water like that.
That is unbelievable. I don't think we've ever seen a move like that in Extreme E. In fact, in any racing championship before. And you could see a look of, I mean, I'm going to say panic on her face there, but well recovered. Hopefully there's not too much damage done to the car. Obviously, given the fact that this is a double header, there is no chance for any opportunity to have a damaged car. Let's take a look at the replay of exactly what happened. It must have been, I'm assuming, her front left tyre that got hooked. Ooh,
that's her onboard. Look at the difference. So here comes, that's the Abt Cupra, and they go in the water too. Oh my God, that's probably, that's like they've
went for a morning dip.
Wow, okay, well,
you know. Swimwear though, what are they doing?
That is wild. I mean, we've seen water crossings before, to be fair. So we had a water crossing in Iceland. So
right. So were the cars
Greenland,
waterproof?
Sorry, the cars. Okay. I say waterproof. There's a big difference between a water crossing and driving into the Red Sea. So let's see what happens. But at the minute, Amanda Sorensen has a 9-second lead as she heads onto the final lap. So it is still Laia Sanz in P2. Down the left-hand side of your graphic, bottom left of your screen, the little X, those are the people who still have an Inoa hyperdrive left. And Laia Sanz has closed that gap down by 4 seconds. Since she dipped a toe in the water,
wow.
She's closed that gap down by 4 seconds. It's down to 5. So Sorensen's gap is being eaten into big time here. She will know she can take it easy, but not for much longer because the Spaniard is coming.
Well, what a phenomenal turn of events. Wouldn't have predicted that one, but we did say it was all about who dared would win by dipping your wheel in the water, but obviously that was a bit too much. But Laia Sanz, she is a phenomenal driver on both 2 wheels and 4. 13 Dakar finishes in a row to her name. I mean, that's just a phenomenal achievement in itself. And it's great to see her back performing well for our first race of this season, season 3.
We've got another battle going on in the background. Trying to see who we're with. That is Carl Cox Motorsport coming under pressure. So that's Christine GZ. Katie Munnings right behind her. Munnings up the inside line through this right-hander. She can't clip that flag on the right. She'll know that. That'll be a 10-second penalty. So Christine GZ with Katie Munnings right behind. Gets the wheels out, but they won't go too close now. Now they've seen a couple of people ending up properly going nose into the water. It's only Clara Anderson who hasn't used her hyperdrive, and she looks like she's too far back. Munnings dips out from the slipstream, going to go up the inside line here. Katie Munnings making a pass on Christine GZ. Door to door with them, a little bit of contact. Got to avoid the grass, and she rolls! Munnings hits the grass on the right-hand side, and the Andretti Altequila is on its roof down towards the mid part of the lap there. She was trying to find a way past GZ, and that's game over for Andretti.
What a shame. Huge disappointment for Katie Munnings. Fingers crossed she's okay and steps out of the car. But yet pushing really, really hard, and that's what's so difficult, isn't it? Finding the limit, but of course not hitting the edge of a rut.
So that's the GMC Hummer EV team of Chip Ganassi Racing waiting down there. This is Amanda Sorensen's debut in the series, and she takes the win. So Amanda Sorensen crosses the line to take the win. Brilliant drive by her. So tidily, I'm sure that was the finish line. Maybe it was a jump. Is it a jump further back from the angle we were seeing the team? My bad if it is. She's still carrying on, so it must be further. But there's the finish line. Okay, Coley, wait for it. But it's still a debut win for Amanda Sorensen. Laia Sanz tried to get back to her, but couldn't quite close the gap after putting the nose fully in the water. And that is a great debut by Amanda Sorensen after, I must say, a fantastic drive by RJ Anderson holding off Ekstrom and that incredible pressure on lap 1.
Yeah. Phenomenal start for Anderson. That really, really was. And Sorensen is going to be absolutely pumped with the start. I mean, I think, you know, you always have a few rookie nerves at the start of any season as a new driver. So they will now be gone out the window. And now it's all about focusing for our race.
She is pumped, isn't she?
Taking it all in. There was a big breath there, closing the eyes.
Yeah. The thing is, Nikki, you don't want to, especially after the drive Anderson put in against Ekstrom, you know, it was a really measured, clever drive to keep behind a very good driver. And he said, didn't he, look, Ekstrom's a class act, he raced me really clean, which is a nice compliment from Anderson. But he will know that Ekstrom, if he'd given him the slightest gap, you bring that car in and you're just then desperate for your teammate to get the job done. And Sorensen did that in some style. So GMC Hummer packing up the tools, limited tools they're allowed down at the switch zone. They're not allowed anything bespoke, so they're not allowed to make special tools. Any tools they take to the switch zone have to be commercially available. And there is Sorensen coming in. So we're going to take a look back at that instant with Katie Munnings. So she was desperately trying to find a way past here, the Carl Cox Motorsport machine of Christine GZ. She gets alongside, a little tiny bit of contact there, and then just on the right look, you think you're going to get away with that, and it goes over. It's a soft roll, so that car will 100% be back out for Q2. And Katie will be fine. On board with Katie, so here it is from her point of view. Does she get unsighted? She's okay now, she knows, and she's just hoping the car will deal with it. And you know what, Nikki, that was so close to sucking it up, but it just went past the limit of what the car can do, and over it went.
Such a shame, just hitting the grass there on the right-hand side, and catastrophic events. But as you say, the car will hopefully be back up and ready for the next session. It just means the guys back at base have got a bit of work to do. Keep them busy. Oh dear.
That's a bit
of body work there.
Yeah. Still looks like
it's still in one piece,
well, yeah,
though. Yeah,
just about to say
pop
the
it
same
back
thing.
on, right?
Just go, yeah, if you tie wraps a bit of tape, that'll be mint. Okay, well, that's a pretty decent start to season 3. It's early here for us.
Well,
so
I told them to give us a good show, so we had lots to talk about. So
Yeah.
thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
To be fair, it's early in Saudi Arabia, but it's a lot of you.
I'm not even going to look at my watch.
No,
I don't want to know what the time is.
If you're in Europe, you're up very early. If you're in the States, you're up pretty late. So you know, some people are going to be enjoying a coffee. I think there might be a few are in the bar somewhere. Let us know if you're in a bar. That'd be amazing.
Definitely the first time I set my alarm when it started with the number 3. But right, let's take a look at the results. So Hansen and Manningsdale unfortunately did not finish that qualifying session. Alatia and Anderson 50 seconds down, 18 seconds down for Schneider and GZ. Ekstrom and Sands put in an absolutely phenomenal job, but it was Anderson and Sorensen after Anderson's flying start, starting from P5 on the grid, but that was just the perfect position for him to put up the fight against Ekstrom and come through as the winners of that qualifying race.
Clara Anderson in the Abt Cupra. That's not the start to the season they would have wanted. They were some 57 seconds back by the end of the race. No, that might even be the gap. I think it is. So, yeah, it would have been even further. Okay, this is the Cupra heading off into the drink. There is the Andretti, which they'd hit just previously. So NASA's gone wide, look. And I really don't think he would have expected the car to get pulled in that much. Bear in mind the amount I think people think on the Dakar, because it's in the desert, it's totally dry. And actually, they've had some horrendous weather in Saudi Arabia for the Dakar in January over the last couple of years. So they do deal with water. But they won't be. No one's going to be sticking. No one's going to be sticking a wheel in that much. I think, Nikki, from now on, it's just a little bit of a warning. You know, you're going to get pulled in. Isn't it mad to talk about the tide being slightly further in than it was in free practice too?
Unbelievable. So we need to find out, anyone on site, which way's the tide going, out or in?
I
we'll do a bit of research.
I think it's as far in as it was. Anderson. I think
Anderson's
a little
shower
done the same.
there.
That's Anderson though. So we've seen Alatia in. I think Anderson's done the same thing. So I think Anderson's done the same thing later in the race. So that it looks like the Abt Cupra has been in twice. Wow.
Double dunking.
I mean, normally, you know, you have to give the car a clean up from the sand and stuff.
There you go.
They're going to be jet washing it off now to get the salt water off it. I mean,
it's a quick car wash.
Right, we're heading down to the paddock, I think, with Laura Winter, and she is with Amanda Sorensen, who's just taken a win on her debut.
Whoa, Amanda, that was a huge whoop as you got out the car. I saw you just before, and I sensed some nerves. There was some pressure coming in as your debut, as your rookie. Talk me through that, because that was some lap.
Well, I think we stuck to our plan, which was just play it safe. And like I said, there's a lot to learn with these cars. The last few months, I've just been absorbing as much knowledge as I can, doing my research, homework. The cars definitely will get away from you if you let it. So just driving smart and sticking to that plan is kind of what got us through, I think.
I heard RJ saying to you in the switch, keep it clean, no mistakes, because you could see when you have a wheel in the water, or indeed the whole car in the water, what can happen. So for you, it was staying out front and sticking to your own plan, as you say.
Exactly, yeah, totally that.
So a debut win, what's next? Qualifying 2 is coming up. How much have you learned from that to take into that race?
A lot, honestly. I think there's a lot of things that can kind of get away from you in the moment because there's a lot of adrenaline going. So like even in the switch, there's just working on the procedures, slow is fast in that kind of sort of situation. So I think that that's the key here.
Slow is fast, I love that. You'll be doing the start as well in this next one, won't you?
Yeah, I will be.
Full gas off the start line. Thank you, Amanda. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
So Amanda Sorensen doing a great job on her debut for Chip Ganassi Racing, bringing that car home for after RJ Anderson had just that great start to the run. So paddock getting themselves ready. Won't be long before we'll have Heat 2 from Q1 underway in Saudi Arabia. Right, before we get on to that race, let's take a look back at the first one. So this was the start. Ekstrom got a brilliant start in the Acciona Science red car, middle of your picture. Now he's coming around the outside. RJ Anderson, though, was just alongside him, and RJ refused to give this up. Look, they're side by side, Nick, as they come down the start straight. There's the contact in the background between Andretti and Abt Cupra. So Andretti Al Tequila getting hit fairly hard from behind, but to be fair, this is NASA's view. He can't see anything. So here, look, absolutely nothing, and boom, there. You could just see the faintest look of those rear view lights, but not enough in to judge how close he was to the car in front. So by this point out front, you're going, okay, they might be in a line, but Ekstrom never gave it up, and RJ never opened the door. It was great race awareness by RJ Anderson.
It really was. I mean, this is some of the best in the business. This is why I love XE, because it really is such a high caliber of drivers going head-to-head against each other. And I think this is a perfect example of that. Proper, clean, wheel-to-wheel racing. Anderson, Ekstrom, and Ekstrom just not giving up.
This was alongside. Look, how many times did Ekstrom get alongside? But Anderson knew, didn't he? What he said in the interview with Laura afterwards, I'll just give up a bit on the entry to make sure that I've got some room on the exit. There's actually an alternate line there, left and right. I don't think we'll see anyone use the left line unless they're pushed wide in the previous corner, because you need to be on the right-hand side to get it into the left. This would, look at that, a big shove for Sorensen. Out you go, get in the car, you need to crack on. A look underneath from the technician, you can see the Fox dampers under the rear, under the front quarter there as well. So much suspension travel. Munning's getting strapped in. Good shot, she was well strapped in, because unfortunately they ended up upside down. And this was the, so that's RJ Anderson doing up the straps for Amanda. She then pulls down hard on the straps and gets back out there. And Elias Sams was right with her, Nikki, until we went down the beach.
Yeah, it was all time for a little bit of a soaking, a bit of a shower first thing this morning. Obviously, the water just coming in a little bit closer to the shoreline than everyone was expecting. And it was a bit of a double dunking.
There it is, just one wheel in, and it really got pulled in hard. This is the Apt Cupra, so I think that's Anderson on lap 2. Hard to tell from the onboard. So I think the Apt Cupra went in twice. So this is Katie Money. She looks up the inside of Christine GZ, and here, look, the car. Oh, do you see the way it bicycles, meaning up on 2 wheels? Just for a moment, she was within an ace of keeping that up the right way up, and unfortunately, just ended up upside down. Amanda Sorensen coming round. I thought the finish was off to the left here at this first jump. Turns out it's just a little way further, but same result. An absolutely brilliant win for her on her debut in Extreme E alongside RJ Anderson. Fantastic stuff from the first race of the season here at Extreme E. There's Katie Munnings getting a lift back in the medical vehicle. She will be absolutely fine. We're going to have a chat with her teammate Timmy Hansen down in the paddock and hear his thoughts on that first encounter.
A very frustrated Timmy stands alongside me. Firstly, how's Katie doing? Is she all right? And what went wrong out there?
Yeah, most importantly, she's fine. So she was smiling when she came out the medical center. But yeah, we were telling her from the command center, like she needs to try, she needs to get the overtake done so that we can qualify for the finals. For the grand final later today, and she was trying. You know, she was looking for the gap a couple places, and once she was on that inside, it just got too narrow, and yeah, she hit that mound and went on the roof. But it's a shame because we were so fast yesterday in practice. We were P2 in both sessions. It feels like, you know, we got a car and a team here to win, but we lost this race in the draw yesterday. Really, in the grid draw, we picked a bad one, you know, on the outside, and yeah, like there were no changes between the draw and the race result today. So yeah, it's kind of a bummer. We're fast, but then it turns to a lottery and we lose out in there. So yeah, that's frustrating, and it's going to be hard to come back in Q2 now. It's not easy to make an outside move on this track. The sand's really soft, but of course we'll do everything. First of all, the mechanics have a lot of work to do, I guess, but these are great guys, and I believe in them. So I'm sure we'll be out in the start grid again for Q2.
We'll be thinking of you. Thanks so much, Timmy.
So Timmy Hansen there, not over the moon. Basically, he's saying that the draw for Q1 means that they were on the outside and they didn't have any chance. There are eco icons down in the paddock. We'll give you a bit more detail about those later on. You've just had a chat with Timmy Hansen. We've got a bit more info for you about him if you're not so familiar with a man who's won the FIA World Rallycross Championship.
I'm a bit of a dreamer, and I've always been. I want to see how good I can become, but also I've really been drawn to almost impossible challenges. Behind the wheel and the sensation of driving, you know, when you get it right, it's fantastic. Nothing else exists. It's almost like you don't exist. It's just the track and the car, like that's it. You know, that you're on the limit, you're pushing yourself, like that's a fantastic feeling. I'm Timmy Hansen. I drive for Andretti Tequila at Extreme E. Yeah, obviously growing up, like we went to rallycross races everywhere. For me, it was normal. For me, it was just how life was. I didn't have very many friends at school and stuff. My friends were all out at the races. Like that's where really my good life was. My father is a 14-time European champion in rallycross, so he has the most titles out of any driver in history. And my mom is also a European champion. She's the only woman who has won an international rallycross series against all the boys. So yeah, we definitely come from motorsport heritage, me and my brothers, and now me and Kevin are racing together in rallycross, but against each other in Extreme E. It's so easy to crash in Extreme E. Like there's been so many accidents because off-road racing has never been about taking it to the absolute limit. It's been like Dakar, it's been endurance, it's been, take care of your car. But Extreme E being on a track and everyone being so fast, we very quickly get to a level where people are setting incredible times and you just have to risk more and go faster over these bumps and faster over the jumps, faster through the turns and take more risk. But I guess that's part of the fun. Extreme E, I think, is doing sport and racing in an extremely modern way. It's carbon neutral. It's the first time that it's ever been completely equal between male and female behind the wheel. And it's been so interesting to me to hear what Katie has had to bring to the table. She's super fast now. If we would be able to win together, that would be a whole different level. And that's something that I really want to do.
Brilliant job to Katie. Fantastic.
Extreme E has taken us to all the corners of the world and still bringing us to new places. We get right into an area that's already damaged by climate change. So what Extreme E is doing is bringing awareness to these problems and trying to help the local environment, but also bringing awareness to what we can do as human beings to help the planet. That's a legacy that our generation is leaving to the next generation. Definitely having a son is affecting the way I race and why I race and why I do what I do. I want to leave the best possible world for him. I very proudly go and do Extreme E and race there because it's a good thing for the world.
Our second race of the morning of qualifying one is fast approaching. What a picturesque, beautiful location we've got here. We're about to see some action out on course though. What did you learn about it yesterday? Emma Gilmore of Neon McLaren.
Yeah, it's a fun course. It's fast, it's rough, but yeah, really enjoyed it. Quite like the jumps, quite like the dunes and stuff. So yeah, looking forward to it.
At the tail end of last season, you came so close in Chile and then got that podium you've been waiting for in Uruguay. How will you continue that momentum from last year to this season? Because you've kept a consistent lineup with you and Tanner as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great working with Tanner again and the team. And like you say, we've got that momentum behind us. So quite a different format this year, though. So, it's going to be about finishing and making sure that we're in that first final come each day.
What do you make of the format? It kind of gives you two chances, doesn't it?
It does. I think it's exciting. It's going to be great for everyone watching back home. I think it's going to be really interesting this weekend just to see how it all pans out, but I think it's really exciting.
Who are your teams to watch? Who are the big threats, do you think?
It's so competitive this season. We saw that last year. Everyone's just getting more and more competitive. I think we could see in the pace yesterday, I think there's so many teams that are in with a chance. So, yeah, I mean, Veloci were very quick, Andretti were very consistent. RXR didn't really show their hand, but again, we're very quick. So yeah, I think anything can happen.
Anything can happen, that's why we love it. Well, we do. For you guys, it's probably a bit of a nightmare. Thank you very much, Emma, best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're at Veloci right now, ones who you noted as being very fast. I'm going to just interrupt the conversation here. Sorry, Molly. I'm going to bring Kevin out. Kevin Hansen joins me for Veloci. A good lineup between you and Molly. Emma Gilmore there, just saying you were looking quick yesterday. How was the car feeling out there?
Oh, thank you, Emma. When we were doing good lap times, we had a great feeling, and I mean, this team is on fire currently. We have such a great vibe, everybody in the team, and we're working so hard to try to get some good results. So, I mean, it felt good yesterday, but today is all about door-to-door action and racing, so we'll try to do our best. Flies everywhere.
The flies are everywhere out here. They're absolutely loving Kevin right now. Where do you think the opportunities lie on this course? For an overtake, for a move?
Well, I won't say. But I have a few ideas, so you will have to watch and see.
I mean, it doesn't make a very good interview if you're not going to tell me anything. Timo Scheider was saying it's like rallycross, elbows out and get stuck in.
Yeah, but that's like it is, you know. And I think we're 7 drivers here, male drivers on the grid that have rallycross background. So it's going to be, I believe, all the males starting. So it's going to be a lot of old battles like rallycross, and it's very similar, you know, type of driving now as well. So I will look forward to it. I love that type of sport and that type of driving, and to do it in this beautiful environment with these amazing cars is going to be a real blast.
Yeah, it's stunning, isn't it? Well, thank you very much, Kevin. Best of luck to you, best of luck to the team and to Molly as well. Let's see if you can pick up where you left off, of course. Top qualifiers last time out. We'll see what you can get for this weekend. A bit higher. Okay, we'll wait and see. I'm looking for that tactic as well. Thank you, Kevin. All right, well, here we go then. Qualifying 1, race 2. Let's get going, shall we?
Well, before we get going, a quick update on Andretti Autokilit. There is the car going back. That needs a fair bit of work. You'd be surprised, a lot of that is just bodywork, but obviously not the way they wanted to start their season off. There's Katie Munnings coming back from the medical centre, and we have had it confirmed that she is fine. So, you know, a roll always looks spectacular. She did end up upside down, but she's all right, and I'm pretty sure there she is, back with Timmy. Isn't that great to see? Brilliant support from her teammate, and that makes a big difference to your attitude when you're in the team. Yeah, she's upset, and I understand that.
Clearly an emotional moment, you know, you don't want to let your team down. You're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders at this point. You know how much work and effort everyone's put in, and ultimately you just want to deliver results. So yeah, clearly an emotional moment, but let's hear from Katie Mullings and how she's doing after that big moment today.
Yeah, I am joined by Katie now, who I know you're fighting back the tears. Thank you for talking to us. Just go through what happened in your own words.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's not the way that we wanted to start the season, obviously. I mean, the whole team's worked so hard, so obviously I'm massively sorry to those guys that have got a big job now. I mean, yeah, change in sporting format this weekend, and it basically meant that we had to finish in the top 3 to be able to even make it to the final. And obviously the grid is drawn from a lottery, so we had a bit of bad luck. We weren't in the prime position off the start, and I knew that was kind of my last chance to overtake on the lap. There was so much dust the second half of the lap, and that was my only point to make a move. I now had a bit more pace around that corner on the first lap, and kind of went on the inside, and then when she came in, it kind of went, I had to go up on the mound, and then obviously the mound was what flipped me. And yeah, it's just such a disappointing way to start the season. You know, there's so much to play for in these races, and I knew that I had to pass to be able to make it to the final, and I took that risk, and it just, you know, didn't balance it out right for me, and misjudged how wide the track was, and you know, made that mistake. So yeah, not a great one.
Not a great one, but you have more chances. Hopefully this car can be rebuilt, and luckily you're all right. Thank you very much, Katie. Well, here we go then. We've got more racing action to bring you. This is Q1 Race 2.
5 cars down on the grid, ready for Heat 2 of Q1. Remember, it's the results of these 2 qualifying heats which put the drivers and the teams through to either the grand final or the redemption race. And there is no way to bump up from the redemption race to the grand final. So it's not like last year where you went semis into the final. You've got to make it. So you need 2 good, strong results. And that, of course, is why poor Katie Munnings is so upset. For the Andretti Autokilit team, a DNF, Nicky, is not what they needed. None of these teams will want that result, but it's another incredibly strong lineup. Wow.
Yeah, look at that. So 5 cars going head to head in this.
1 minute.
1 minute to go. Thank you, Scott Elkin there. So this is race 2 for qualifying 1. Now we can see JBXE has got the inside line. That was the best position that we saw in race 1. So will it be that again? Heikki Kovalainen, he is our rookie driver, of course. He knows his racecraft, but how is he going to use it off-road? Then it's the McLaren XE team. Tanner Faust, hugely experienced. This is going to really suit him. Fraser McConnell is in at X44. No Sebastian Loeb this season, so he's going to be looking to make a strong start for the team. Rosberg X Racing, Johan Kristoffersson, one of the best World Rallycross champions in the world, 5 to his name. So this is going to get exciting. And finally, Kevin Hansen on the outside for Veloce Racing.
4 very, very experienced rallycross drivers. There is the most successful rallycross driver of all time, 5 FIA world titles, but slot number 4, he's got to get an amazing start from there. You're on board with Johan Kristoffersson. You see Tanner Faust moving across immediately on Fraser McConnell, but Kristoffersson is there already. It's in front of McConnell. It's Tanner Faust, the whole shot the inside line. The RXR machine is dropping into P2. So Kristoffersson is right up to P2, but look on the right-hand side, Fraser McConnell coming up past all the cars, trying to make it to lead. McConnell with an amazing whole shot into turn 2. Fraser McConnell for X44 went from P4 to P2. Tanner Faust is in behind him. Heikki Kovalainen in third at the minute. Kristoffersson's gone from P4 to P2, back to P4 again. Faust trying to find a way through, coming through that long right-hander now. Back into the inside line, McConnell. That was an incredible start move by him.
Absolutely phenomenal. You could see there, Heikki Kovalainen struggling a little bit with the start. He's dropped from P1 down to P3. Perhaps, you know, we were talking earlier about the lack of experience when it comes to off-roading. Hasn't maybe suited him at the start, but McConnell, phenomenal. And Tanner Faust as well, he's managed to hold on to P2.
The move, I can't wait to see a replay of it, and they're really dicing with it there.
Watch that water, boys.
Yeah, dipping a rear wheel in will work. You can dip a rear wheel in because you won't get sucked in from the rear as long as you've still got the loud pedal on. Up the inside line, that is a pass from Veloce's Kevin Hansen. So Kevin Hansen moves up a spot into P4. He's looking inside Kovalainen but can't find a way through. I suspect that's Inoa Hyperdrive that he's used there to try and get through. We didn't see if anyone used it off the start. Look at how physical this is. Very different physicality from circuit racing. You know, we know G-forces there are high, but the impacts in this are massive and it's constant. You're fighting the car and the terrain the whole time.
Absolutely, wrestling with the car, wrestling with the sand and the terrain. And, you know, every lap is different. As we said, you know, the track will rut up. You know, you can't take the same line lap after lap as you can with circuit racing. You've really got to understand the lay of the land, the environment, of course the cars in front, and manage that dust that we can see there from the sand.
Fraser McConnell, visor down out front, has a 1.64 lead over Tanner Faust for Neon McLaren Extreme in P2. Is Heikki Kovalainen in P3. XF1 drivers say with plenty of rally experience, you'll see sometimes the drivers dipping out of the line on the straight to try and get better visibility. Obviously, as the day goes on and the track dries out a bit, I think the dust is going to potentially prove to be more of an issue for the cars which are further back. But this is an incredible start by McConnell. He goes over the finish line, remember, 1 lap to go, and then into the switch zone, and they'll be handing over to their counterparts. It is super close. Look how close it is, Nikki. What it is, 6.4 seconds, I think, between the whole lot.
Yeah, actually, in the first quali race, they've spread out quite quickly within the first lap. We could already see the gap widening. But this,
McConnell,
big moment there for McConnell. Whew, but he's managed to recover it, just. And actually hold on to his lead. Tanner Faust there is going to try and make the most of that opportunity, closing in on the gap now to under 3 seconds. And here we have Kovalainen and Hansen in some, well, proper wheel-to-wheel action. I think there was even a bit of contact there.
Kristoffersson in close behind these two cars now. If anyone's got their Inoa Hyperdrive left, I suspect they'll use it on the straight on this next run. So you can see Kevin Hansen is all over the back here of Heikki Kovalainen. You're on board with him just for a second, and he got a glimpse in front of Tanner Faust in the Neon McLaren Extreme E machine. Here comes Johan onto the straight now, looking for anybody got Inoa Hyperdrive left down here. And it doesn't look like they have. So some of the drivers then have used it off the start. And I think Kevin Hansen made that pass previously. Oh, Kovalainen has got a run on Tanner Faust. Heikki Kovalainen up the inside of Tanner Faust. Yeah, maybe he had his hyperdrive left and we just haven't seen it here. So Faust drops back into P3, and the speed there coming off that end corner. Up and over the crest, Faust is into the back. You see contact there with the JBXE machine from Tanner Faust into the back of Kovalainen. Kristoffersson desperately looking for a way past Kevin Hansen, but he can't find it. McConnell, meanwhile, out front has stretched the lead to 4.7 seconds. So despite that bad bounce, did he take a flag down there on board? Oh, rear end comes off the JBXE machine. It's all going on here, isn't it? All coming off even.
Flying everywhere. But, you know, as Katie Munnings was saying, there really isn't that many opportunities for passing. So you have to put all your cards on the table. But obviously with that comes a huge amount of risk.
Gutierrez waiting in the switch zone. It could not be closer between the cars in the pack coming in now. Expect people to brake as late as they can into the switch zone. You're allowed to pass in the braking zone, but not once you get to that board. They've got to finish the lap first, though. It's these jump dips which we've got to watch out for. So you can see the limits of that Fox suspension are being tested. So as the car comes down, the rear end bounces. Look at what happened to McConnell. You get sideways and you can lose a ton of time. McConnell's in the switch zone.
Already in the switch zone, which just shows how he really has... Oh, that was a bit
contact,
of a,
yeah.
That was a loud noise.
Yeah,
Not the kind of noise you want to hear.
No, definitely contact. We didn't see who it was with, but...
Someone forgot to brake going into the switch zone.
Or use somebody in front of the Mazda brake.
Fair enough, yeah, why not? So there we are, McConnell ahead. Let's take a look at the replay of the start.
So it was Faust look on the inside line at this point. So look where Fraser McConnell is at the minute. He's fourth, Nicky. So he's far out on the right-hand side. He gets past both the JVXE and RXR machines and then appears in front of Tanner Faust. Full throttle into that left-hander. I know they'll be going mad in Jamaica. He's a bit of a superstar in Jamaica. And obviously he's stepping in to fill big shoes here in Sebastian Loeb. Fraser will know that. But he's a young driver who I've been lucky enough to commentate most of his career, and he's been working so hard since starting in the junior categories of rallycross over in America, still competing over there in Nitro Rallycross, and he was so pleased to get the call up for Lewis Hamilton's X44 squad, and he's handing over to Gutierrez in fine fashion on his first run for the team.
That's the thing, he's not just stepping in for Sebastian Loeb, he's also stepping into the X44 team. You know,
yeah.
They're the 2022 champions. You've got Lewis Hamilton behind you. Yeah, it's an absolutely phenomenal team. He must be super proud and very excited. This is a big moment for him in his racing career. So there we have it. They are all ready to leave the switch zone. But now let's go down to McConnell, see how he's doing after those first couple of laps. He's with Laura.
So from P4 to P1, that was quite the move, Fraser, wasn't it? I know you want to get to command. We'll let you go in just a sec, but talk us through it.
No, the game plan was to give Christina the car in a good position, and gonna go watch her see through to the finish now, and yeah, good team effort.
Thank you very much. Off you go.
So Fraser McConnell desperate to get back to the command centre. Your pictures you were seeing, Emma Gilmore had to back out of it because they were side by side, a little bit of contact between her and Molly Taylor as they came out of the switch zone. Gilmore had to stop. She then used her Inoa hyperdrive immediately on leaving the switch zone to try and gain the position back again. Molly Taylor now is door to door with Hedda Hozas. She's inside Hozas. Can she get through? Contact again through this long right-hander. Taylor is forcing her way through down at waypoint 5. They're still side by side. Emma Gilmore will smell if there's a gap in front or not. Ah, there we go. So Hozas had to use the alternate line over to the left-hand side. She got pushed wide by Molly Taylor. Contact again in the background. You can hear that's Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski trying to get that RXR machine up from the back of the pack. She's in behind Emma Gilmore. Now, okay, wait for this straight and see who uses their Inoa hyperdrive. Gutierrez goes first of all. She fires it up. Now in the background, Arlen Kotlinski trying to find a way through on the straight. Taylor responds as well.
Well, this is really interesting, isn't it? So is that usually the strategy? Once one uses it, they all follow?
On the straight, yes. So Gilmore, look, has been eaten up. Gilmore used it on the exit of the switch zone, which we do see sometimes to try and get a bit of extra speed. She couldn't get through. And unfortunately then when Arlen Kotlinski's used it, she's managed to make a place up and into the back. Hard contact there. That's Emma Gilmore into the back of the RXR machine, and now the hood flies off, which is actually a result because the visibility was completely gone from it. Nikki Shields is sitting next to me. Her shoulders are going up and down, just laughing. Nikki, this is a bit different to Formula E, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure normally when you've got a piece of the car flying off, you have to go into the pits and there's some sort of safety aspect, but this is just, I'll wait for it to fly off, it'll be absolutely fine. This is proper bumper car stuff, I love it. So much action, I've got to say, I'm really enjoying it so far.
Great to have you along. And Jenny Gow, hello if you're watching at home. Jenny, everybody is working super hard on coming back.
I hope Jenny's still asleep.
So do I, that's a good point. But Jenny,
good morning, Jenny. I know you will be up.
Yeah, sending you love, mate, and wishing you well on the road to recovery. Jenny will be back with us at Extreme E, and Nikki Shields, thank you so much for coming and covering it. And I'm glad you're enjoying it as much as Jenny does as well. So.
Well, just keeping the seat warm for Jenny.
Well, mate, this is what a way to welcome you along, because this is absolutely brilliant stuff. There's that drop jump again. Watch the way the rear end of the car bounces as it comes over the top and lands basically. Here again, watch this. Down, you can hear it hit the bump stop, so it's at the limit of what the suspension can do. And as a driver, you've got to have some faith that the car will land well, and then keep in the throttle, keep the steering straight, and pull it straight after that landing.
And how much can the teams do when it comes to the setup of the car? You know, we obviously had practice yesterday. The teams would have been doing as much as they can to prepare the car car for today. But how much can they really change, given the fact that obviously every team has the same car?
Yeah, they do. And so in Formula E, as you well know, obviously some of the technicalities of the car have been released to the teams. So they can make their own drivetrain or use their own, you know, their different parts. Some of it is spec. With the Odyssey 21, the whole car is spec, but they can do alternate line here for Arlen Kotlinski. Doesn't manage to make it work, but you can see she's looking to the inside. So that they can change things like damper and spring settings. They can change basic geometry on the car. But other than that, not so much. So it really is an even playing field between all the drivers.
And data is a massive thing in Formula E. You know, again, we always look back to past races. This being a new track, there isn't really any data available. How critical is that going to be? A level playing field, I suppose.
Very much. And that's what you were saying yesterday, Nikki. I know you were quite surprised about how little time they had to learn the track and how little time they spend in the car. Yeah, this is our third time in Saudi Arabia. It's our third different track. And the other thing with off-road motorsport is, as you can see brilliantly from our wonderful drone shots here, the track changes every lap. So data is important. Yesterday we were watching some of the drivers do practice starts. They were, you know, they would pull out the switch zone, stop in free practice, so they'd lose 10 seconds, but they'd try a different start setting. So you've got one driver do a start setting off the line, another driver will do a start setting out the switch zone. You're just trying to find the one that's going to give you the most traction. Okay, potential speeding for either Gilmore or Faust in the Neon McLaren.
And what would the penalty for that be? Is that a 10-seconder?
Yeah, basically there's a penalty for speeding and then another, I think it's like a second per kilometre an hour. So the faster you go, the worse the penalty. Gutierrez, absolutely brilliant, taking over from Fraser McConnell, who I have to say, that was an absolutely epic start by him. Fraser McConnell coming in with a decent gap as they were fighting behind. And Gutierrez, last year's champion, alongside Sebastian Loeb, is going to bring the X44 machine home for the win. So the championship winning car with a new driver like McConnell, all smiles. There is that fantastic team put together by Lewis Hamilton. Big up there from Fraser McConnell. If you know, you know. There's a lot of big ups in Jamaica. I know his mum and dad will be going mad over there watching as well. So fantastic debut for him. And how brilliant. Him and Gutierrez must be getting on fantastically. It's Molly Taylor came home in P2 for Veloce. And P3, Heather Hozas has brought it home for JBXE. Wow, another good encounter. Not quite so carnage. Thumbs up from Gutierrez and a wave. Yes, well done. Brilliant drive by the new pairing. Gutierrez doing what we knew she could do. Fraser McConnell proving that he was a good signing for Lewis Hamilton's team. Awesome.
So let's take a look at this replay with McLaren and a bit of contact with RXR. There it is. Oh, and just, there's the debris. Is this the point that it flies off? Or
It is, yeah, it is. No, there you go.
Oh, it
That's
goes.
ideal.
There we go.
See ya.
Catch it.
that one's going to need more than tie wraps and tape, I'm afraid, Nikki. That looked fairly well beaten up.
So
Let's have a
this
listen
is
in.
when.
Look at it. Actually, you know that that's one race. The thing about these weekends is they've got to get 3 races right. They need another good run in Q2, and their grid positions in Q2 are decided by Q1. So that's a brilliant result for them. Those people who suffered in Q1 are going to have a not ideal grid position in Q2. Here's Fraz coming across, going to meet up with Cristina Gutierrez. The team just holding him back. Don't get run over, Fraz. That's not a good look. But I love, you know, the whole team laughing. You can see Gutierrez in the car. The difference in that emotion, Nikki, to Katie Munnings earlier, ending the race upside down, and that is the roller coaster of motorsport and particularly of Extreme E.
And as you mentioned, you know, you got 6 races over the course of the weekend. That emotion that you have coming out of the first race is going to have a massive impact over the course of the next race. You know, you're going to go from highs to lows, and it's really difficult when you've had a bad start to the day, for some drivers in particular, to kind of move on. You've got to put it past you. Right, let's take a look at the results from qualifying 1, heat 2. So it was 5th for the Neon McLaren team, 4th for RXR, 3rd for Kovalainen and Hozas, 2nd, of course, for Timmy Hansen and Taylor, but a lovely clean sweep for McConnell and Gutierrez, 11 seconds ahead. Oh, sorry, with an 11-minute 32-second run. Absolutely phenomenal. A great win for them. And it was smiles all round. Positivity in the team, I think, this morning.
Yeah, great stuff. X44 on top straight away. Last year's season champion, of course, season. Well, there it is, McConnell and Gutierrez. Your new relationship, completely. Before she had, Sebastian Loeb alongside her, and now it's Fraser McConnell, and yeah, just great stuff. Fantastic job by that pairing. Laura is with them now. We can hear from the winners of Q1 race 2.
Christina, congratulations. Starting the season as you mean to go on with a win. Talk to me about your lap, keeping it out in front, but first of all, the start that Fraser McConnell gave you.
Yeah, I was lucky because Fraser gave me the car in a very good position in the first one with a good gap. So in my side, I only need to take care about the car, take care about the track, because sometimes it's very rough, and Fraser did a very good job, a very good start. So this is the best way to start the weekend.
This is a brand new partnership between the two of you as well. How's it going? It looks as though you've just settled in so nicely.
Yeah, we are trying to be so communicated between us because it's important, obviously for the driver change, and I think it was one of the best driver changes that we made, maybe because the adrenaline, and this is nice for start.
And what next? You've got qualifying 2, and you've got the next race to come.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be very interesting, and we need to take as much as possible to take the final.
Absolutely. I'm going to go speak to your new team principal as well. If I can get round the car, I'm going to try and sneak through if I can. I'm going to come round here. Right, let's see if we can sneak in and speak to Steph Carlin. Steph, I'm going to grab you. Here we go. Welcome to Extreme E.
Thank you.
What a way to start it. Talk me through what you thought of that one.
Well, I think it's, typical Extreme E. The start is key. Fraser did a great job off the line, so. And after that, he just kind of managed the pace at the front and obviously benefited from not having all the sand in his face. And then the switch went really, really well, which was great for us as a new kind of operational team to be able to tick that first box and get the switch right. And then Christina just followed on and kept the lead, and everyone did exactly what they needed to do. So, yeah, absolutely delighted.
Trust the process. Well done, and best of luck for qualifying 2.
Thanks a lot.
So yeah, a little hint there that the preparation team behind X44 has changed. So what the teams do is they put in place a technical team, if you like, to run it. That technical team's changed, and Lewis Hamilton, X44, brought in some great diversity to the team as well in the background with the engineers and team managers. Absolutely fantastic, and a brilliant positive start for them. So look back at the start of that second race. You want to... no, yes, it is the second race. So track McConnell, look at it where he is, P4. Look at the sand everywhere, but look, he goes right here, Nikki. And actually, Kevin Hansen goes with him in the Veloce machine. They're both on the right. And he just finds amazing traction, potentially on that smoother sand. Comes across, and by turn 2 has got the whole shot. You're on board with him now. Look here, you're thinking, oh dear, okay, P4, not ideal. But look, he goes to the right, he lifts mid-corner, comes across. Look how flat the sand is on the right. So great traction here over the other side. You can hear that they're struggling for traction. Fausti's on his left, boom, he's in the lead. Epic start by McConnell.
Which is why I absolutely love this series, because there isn't just one line to take. There are so many different options, and that's a brilliant example of how the line that we saw in the first race of quali was completely different to the line that we saw in the second race of quali.
Yeah, amazing. I hope Lewis Hamilton's watching. Depends what time zone he's in, I'm sure. No, I don't know. I suspect he is, the amount of training he puts in. But I mean, yeah, any driver would be so happy with that start, Nick. It was tactically great. That was the one little moment, and that's what you got to remember with Extreme E, is you could have a 15-second lead, and one bad bounce can cost you a ton of time. Fraser got away with it. I actually thought that Faust might be a little bit closer. If Faust had been closer, he might have been able to take advantage. That was Heikki Kovalainen, I think, or was it on the second lap? No, it was the second lap, wasn't it? So that's Hedda Haas, I think, passing. Look at that, clamshell bodywork comes off the back of the car with a big bounce. No, I think this is still the first lap, yeah.
You can just see the gap there already breaking away from the rest of the pack. The 4 cars, quite a big gap between Fraser and Head.
They were very pleased with their changeover, which makes me wonder, do you remember they both... Here's Gilmore. Watch Gilmore in the McLaren. She literally has to stop here because she's got no option to. Then turns across onto Arlen Kotlinski.
I know you want to get to command. We'll let you go in just a sec. But talk
Agreed what you were about to say, though. The driver changed, which I think is something that you know, we kind of just take for granted. We think, well, of course the driver change will go smoothly. But actually, it is an area, the switch, where mistakes can be made.
Yeah.
So you heard Steph Carlin there saying earlier just how important it was for the team to get it right.
Yeah, it really is. And they said, didn't they, the adrenaline meant it was probably the best one they'd had. But so good. And Gutierrez just knocked it out the park. We expect that from her now. She really is one of the strongest female drivers in the series.
Well, now with no Sebastian Loeb here, she's got the best record. So I am very excited to see whether she can, fight for another championship with X44.
Great start, absolutely fantastic start by them. Over the line, Gutierrez and McConnell for X44 winning Heat 2 Q1. Great first qualifying session of the 2023 season. Season 3 of Extreme E starting in Neom, Saudi Arabia. First time we've been oceanside since Senegal in Season 1. Great stuff. Brilliant track here. Looking forward to a weekend of amazing action.
In the build-up to the final in each Extreme E X Prix, fans can show their support and vote for their favourite teams and drivers through grid play. The voting takes place via the Extreme E website. The team that collects the most votes gets first pick on their grid position in the grand final and will have the opportunity to massively influence the start of the race. But there is a twist. The teams that do not reach the grand final can donate their votes to any other team. With a strong start being key to a good X Prix result in Extreme E, grid play could make or break a team's chances of success. Which team will emerge as firm fan favourites?
Yeah, we've seen some interesting vote donations going on in the past. Here's where we are at after Q1. So Anderson and Sorensen winning the first race for Chip Ganassi Racing. McConnell and Gutierrez winning the second one for X44. And that then shows you where they will go through to, I think that's the grids over on the right-hand side. It is. So you can see it's pole for both the winners from Q1. So that Q1 race is absolutely crucial, really, to how the rest of your day goes. And remember, it's double-header format this year, so we've got one race today and one race tomorrow. 2 qualifying sessions and then a final. Stunning location. We're heading down for a chat with one of our rookie drivers. Not really fair to call an F1 driver a rookie. Heikki Kovalainen.
Absolutely, Coley. Well, that was the first 2 races of the season. This man's first race in Extreme E. Have you ever done anything like that in your life before?
No, not really. I mean, the visibility was poor, but I mean, sometimes in Formula 1 in the spray, in the rain, and the GT cars, you know, there was poor visibility, but now the visibility was poor and you got ruts and bumps, so it was guesswork most of the time behind the other cars.
Talk me through that move on Tanner Faust down the beach. You absolutely sent it.
Yeah, I mean, I just got a good exit. It's just a matter of following those ruts at the end, exit of that corner before the beach straight, if you like. And I just had a better traction. He was sort of a little bit tank slapper coming. He had a bit of a tank slapper coming out of the corner, and I just had momentum. It was relatively easy. I mean, just pass him on the straight and straight forward.
You're going to be on such a steep learning curve throughout today and looking ahead to tomorrow, of course. How much have you learned from today to take into qualifying too?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, every day is a lot of new things, and you know, the start is important. Everybody's on the hyper there, so I was wondering if I should save it or not. But I mean, you can't save it. You got to spend it there when everyone else is spending, and you got to get your position in the queue early on. It's half the battle if you can get to the first, second, or third position. I mean, the back of the queue you just can't see anything, and like Nasser in the first heat, there was a bit of a contact in the first corner, and then you know he couldn't go on his normal pace. So sprint races are really you got to be sharp from the beginning, and it worked out okay now, but one day it might not work out. But yeah, we're still enjoying it.
Absolutely. Third place for you. We'll see what happens in qualifying too. Thanks, Heikki. Appreciate it. Well, I've not got long, but I'm going to sneak, if I can. Oh, not into App Cooper. Where am I heading? I'm heading into Veloce, which is in here. I'm going to run through to the back to grab, if I can, a quick chat with Molly or Kevin. Oh, you're watching me. This is weird, isn't it? The score got very, very meta. Kevin, talk me through that one. Second place and a start for you.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, we had a bit of a difficult turn 1. Fraser cut me off on my line, and yeah, well, he did a good job. Then it was in the dust for for the full run almost, but managed to save my hyperdrive, overtook Johan, and then trying to stay as close as possible. I knew I had a very quick teammate to hand the car over to, so I was just making sure to get there in as good position as possible, and yeah, just look how Molly pulled that off.
Great stuff. Well, sorry, Molly, we'll talk to you later, but best of luck to you guys for qualifying too. Thank you.
So not long to go before Q2 and the finals get underway here at this new location on the Neom Coast. But it's been an absolutely cracking start this morning for Chip Ganassi Racing and X44. The question is, can they improve on their performance this afternoon?
To be aggressive.
Try to drive now.